Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another What If discussion from me. And I'm sorry that this one's a little bit late in the day. Sometimes that happens. But because a particular commenter on my video decided to ask some questions about who I'd want to work with for this, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give Trinell the answers to their questions, as well as possibly build upon that, because it would be interesting to do so. So, first question from Trinell for this part 2. Would you mind working with NT Create? Isn't it NT Creates? Either way, would you mind working with NT Create to make this game? I'd have no problem working with them because I know that they know this style of gameplay very well. They're very familiar with it, though I've seen them work more in games that are Mega Man Zero styled. Mega Man X's style isn't too different, even though I'd say it's probably a little bit stiffer than what Mega Man Zero is. It's a little bit more solid feeling in comparison, but it's still not too different, and I could see them working very well as a team to put the development time into this. So, yes, I'd have no issue working with them. I'd probably be really happy to work with them because they have a lot of experience and they've made some of my more favorite games in recent years, or have had part in some of my more favorite games in recent years. So again, no issue working with them. Changing characters on the fly, kind of similar to Mega Man ZX series, except instead of models, we get actual robots or Reploids. Push a button and cycle through. Yeah. Basically that. You basically just be given the option to just tap a button and swap to the next character in the lineup. That's really all that would be. I was thinking, what was I going to say? What else was I going to say? I had something else for this. I don't know. But I would have that, and then I'd also have, like, you know how Mega Man X8 had the team up moves where they could jump together because it had a meter that built up. I'd add additional levels to it. Like, it'd have one level. The first level would be the next character that would be in the lineup would jump out and help you. And then the other level would be all three characters work together and do like an extremely powerful attack that could possibly like wipe out a boss in one go. It just depends. But yeah, it's still the same thing. When defeating a boss, I guess Zero, Axel, Heat, and Mega Man each get their own version of the robot's power. Yes and no. Some of them will share. They'll get the same thing. But in general, yeah, everybody would get their own weapon or specialized technique from each individual boss. Just would just be how it works. I mean, I wouldn't want them to have all of the same stuff, but you could say something like it was Mega Man X6, the Yamar option. X and Zero both got that. I mean, there's no reason that either of them couldn't. And Twin Dream is the same thing as Soul Body. Twin Dream being what Zero gets in Mega Man X5, and Soul Body being what X gets in Mega Man X4. Those are the same thing, even though they got them from different characters. Like, so I could see just having that be like that option available. It would be fine to like have them. Everybody would get, for the most part, their own stuff, like I'm saying, but then you'd end up with some characters, because it's just like that particular move is the best thing that character can give anyone, so they'd all get the same thing there. But that's it. Will environmental changes come back if you pick a stage? Whatever stage that influences it will be different if you beat the previous boss or not. That actually would be something I would think about bringing back in there. Like, but I guess I'd have to break this down a little bit differently. I would say yes in the immediate, because honestly it would be nice to have that, but it wouldn't just be environmental changes. It would be structural changes to the stages too. So like if I were to say bring back Launch Octopus and Jet Stingray and have them in stage together, and then I brought back like Sting Chameleon and who would be a good Web Spider, and their stages were linked to the other two. Like say you beat Launch Octopus and you go to Sting Chameleon stage, and yeah, it's filled up with water if you beat him first. But if you don't beat any of those characters and you end up on Web Spider stage, the waterfalls would there would be openings in waterfalls where there are areas that you could traverse that you wouldn't be able to if you beat the other stages before then. So along with the layout changes, like I wouldn't let the layout changes affect your ability to get armor, because armor would have to be in an area that you cross no matter what. But just giving that like structural changes to the stages, layout changes, or say you beat Jet Stingray stage and then you go over to like a stage for Magma Dragoon, and say like the water, like defeating him like pushed water into the volcano, like so there are less spot, like would say it's similar to how if you beat Chill Penguin before going to Flame Mammoth, where the fire is iced over in his stage, you beat Jet Stingray before you go over to Magma Dragoon, because they're in the same tiering. The lava is like the lava that would be in his stage is hardened like rock, because there's like you'll see like a waterfall in the background, and I would love to do like a little aesthetic stuff like that, like where the background has a waterfall, like where there's an opening and the water is just pouring in after you've beaten Jet Stingray, because it just opens up that hole, or that hole is flooded with water, and that water has like cooled the lava. So there are certain sections where you'll be able to walk across that you wouldn't normally before then, which would allow you to get to areas that you wouldn't be able to, where there may be some lava that you can't cross. Stuff like that. I mean, I'm not set on it, I'm not sold on it, but it would be something that would be interesting to do. And I didn't include this in the last one because I meant to, but Heat would actually have armor upgrades. He wouldn't have the same type of upgrades that X gets. Well, I would say it's not really armor upgrades, but it'd be more like armor enhancements, where like just like stuff that just gives him like boost and things like that. Like he gets a leg part that extends the length of his dash, as well as giving him like an upward dash instead of a double jump, very similar to X and Mega Man X3, and possibly like a double air dash, just like something that allow him more mobility. Again, obviously like similar to X. His buster part would obviously upgrade the power of his buster attacks. So say he defeated an enemy and he unlocked his ability to use the fire on his sword. So when he gets the armor upgrade, well, using fire on his sword and his buster, when he gets the armor upgrade, it pushes that power, like it extends it, like makes it, let's just say you go from a regular charge shot for fire to like a massive blast that you can charge up if given time to do so. And then with the sword itself would become the flames. Kind of similar to how it looks in Mega Man X6. I can't remember the enemy that you beat to get that weapon, but I know like when X uses the sword, the saber is covered in flame itself while he's swinging the saber, and flames come off of it. But it'd be similar to that. I've actually got the sprites and stuff done for that on Deviant art on there too. So like you can find them if you're willing to look. I'll try to see if I can find it and put the link in the description for people to be able to look it up. It just be like stuff that could boost output for him. I give him like a helmet upgrade that would allow him to be able, like that would give him warnings of like what enemies are coming ahead of him. So when you're playing with him on screen, you'll see like little things on the screen to let you know what type of enemies or traps may be coming up ahead. Just something to give him some sort of precognition. And then obviously the armor upgrade would you know, the armor boost would take away some damage for him. Like, just that type of stuff. I meant to include that. I don't know how I forgot it, but I meant to say that at some point that Dr. Kane had made upgrades for him, like the chip upgrades from Mega Man X3, but that's what Heat gets. He doesn't get like additional armor. He just gets the heat upgrades, the chip upgrades that boost his capabilities, because it unlocks additional powers in him that he would have had, but they weren't there standard. Okay, that type of stuff. Goodness, and I'm trying to think. But yeah, I'd have them. And then I didn't think about like other, like, you know, mid boss type characters. I was talking about bringing back Vile, but then you could bring back Bit and Bite. You could bring back the X Hunters. Like, just make it all around, like, pay homage to a lot of stuff that went on in the X series. And you could even bring in some of the bosses from, like, some of the characters from the two Game Boy games, from the Mega Man Extreme games. Bring them in and put them in the game as enemies that you can face. And then for characters like X and Zero, they'd have to face off with like a reborn version of like Iris, and then like Double, where they have to fight them and like throw, like, at this point Axel wouldn't be playable. Like, towards the final stage of the game, Axel wouldn't be playable. So then you'd have Heat having to take on like characters like I'm forgetting their names. Look, I'm gonna cheat this real quick if I can get this to Google to open. Goodness, come on Google, open up. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna cheat this real quick. Mega Man Extreme. I didn't even hit enter. What the? I don't know what this thing was doing. Yeah, I'm trying to get the character names. Oh, and I would love to bring back Spark Mandrill too. Like, this is so many characters I would be like all over bringing them back into the series. Like, have them being resurrected using the data and stuff. Because once you get to the later games and they're extracting Maverick data, it kind of makes sense to just say, oh, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and have, you know, these characters be reborn by using their data. Yeah, that's who it is. The bosses, Berkana and Gareth. Like, I'd have Heat fight them or something like that. And gosh, there's so many characters I would love to just bring back and have. Like, I would go through the whole gambit of the X series and find each really good boss that I liked from that series and bring them back. But yeah, it was the DNA Souls. That's what it was, DNA Souls. So I would have them taking, like, it would just be, I guess, like, I would take the concept of the Mega Man Extreme games, but put it at the end of the series and add in a new character, and then add in some new bosses and stuff like that. But and set it up so that you end up with a lot of powers for your characters. Like, so you have like a ton of stuff that you can do in this game, and I think that would make the replay value of it really worthy for a lot of people, because they'd be like, hell, I can play this game and play with all these characters, and there are so many different choices and weapons and stuff that you can use, and like, and different characters can get you to different areas based on the weapons that they earn or the abilities that they gain facing certain enemies. So I guess I would really try to put it to task to like cram as much stuff into this game that would make it worthwhile for anybody who's a Mega Man fan or anybody who's a fan of the X series. I would cram so much stuff into this to make it one of those games that you'd have to play it, and once you did, you'd absolutely be satisfied that the X series ended at this point. Or at least at least it would lead into, like, you know, like I said, the Elf Wars and stuff like that, where like Neo Arcadia and stuff is all sprung up. Like, which are things that the X series should have led to happening anyway, but it never really got fleshed out. So I think that's basically the big takeaway from all of this, is that I'd be creating that setup for it. So, but I don't have a whole lot more to say. Thank you for the questions that you threw at me, because it made me want to do this part 2 and to kind of go over a few extra things that I may have not remembered to think about. So that's it. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games. Peace out.